Yeah, man. So time out. Let's just take a minute. You got fully funded?
Fully funded. We're funded, buddy. Yeah, we're off to the races.
Dude, congratulations.
Thank you.
I heard a little inkling of it maybe, but I didn't know for sure. $5 million.
$5 million. Big old
Brother,
schmackaroo.
congratulations.
Thank you.
You went in to pitch for a $30,000 grant and came out with $5 million.
Sure did. I got to give it to my team, man. My team, they were prepared. I put the right people in the right place, and it's the machine's done its job. Is all I can say. I have the unique position as a startup founder to just be the founder now. Brought you met Coop.
Yeah, he's
my right hand
great.
man. I brought him in to be my CEO. Amazing human being. You met Brian, our chief product officer, the developer. I mean, we put together a superhero team, and I couldn't be more blessed to have the team around me that we have, and they're the reason we're funded. I have nothing to do with it other than a good idea fairy. They are the reason we're funded, and I'm honored to have them on my team. They're amazing human beings.
Man, I am so proud of you, and congratulations.
Thank you.
And they didn't make that publicly known.
No, we'll probably do some marketing, some videos here in January.
Brother, fantastic. Because all right, so all right, I feel like we need a sidetrack just a hot minute.
That's fine.
Let's talk about the idea. What did you do to win $5 million funding, like full funding? Let's talk about that.
All right, let's talk about it. So I guess we'll start at the beginning. I, like yourself and probably many of your listeners from the military community, lost a ton of friends to suicide. Way more than I lost in combat. Continue to lose them. It's something that I didn't feel like the VA or anybody's doing enough of. And I went on this weird personal journey trying to figure it out myself. And it started with drug addiction rehabilitation has kind of funded our research because my business partner at the time, son, failed a third rehab. So we started one. And I realized like the behavior modalities weren't changing. There had to be something neurological. There had to be an impact. Met my partners, Dr. Alina Fong, Dr. Mark Allen at Cognitive Effects. I brought them my ideas of, hey, you guys do traumatic brain injury recovery. I wonder if I can put some of my modalities with that and pair and see if we can heal the brain. Through that process, we identified that trauma to the brain is trauma to the brain, whether it's emotional or physical. The brain, to protect itself from whatever you're experiencing, restricts or over-induces blood flow to certain areas of the brain. But without another stimulation, the blood flow never resorts back to its baseline. So people have lived in these altered states of blood flow to the brain, and we thought for 20 years it's been electrical. The thing is, the electrical is a symptom of the mechanical, which is the blood flow. And so we came up with a process to restore blood flow. It worked in lab. It worked in our clinic, 14 days inpatient, very expensive, and it was not as scalable as I was hoping it was going to be. So I decided to take an exit, take my modalities, and put them into virtual reality. In that process, I realized that if we can gamify them and make it a video game, we can make this not only fun and enjoyable, but we remove the resistance from the patient, and we go into a state of play, which like a flow state, and we actually increase blood flow back to our baseline at a faster rate. So we did a couple studies, 1 hour a day for 4 days, and the results were the same I was getting at a 8 to 9 hour day, 14 days in clinic with an entire medical team, just by playing video games. So we took that, we've patented it. It's gone from my idea to now we brought on Dr. Marco Grifa. He's a NASA doc, one of the lead investigators for the Casper project. So any of your listeners listening, if you have a Apple Watch or any wearable heart rate monitor system that tracks heart rate variability, sleep, stress, that all comes from Dr. Marco Grifa. He is kind of one of the head founders of that technology. We've paired that now. We've created a bio decision engine, which we've patented. So as you play the game, if you give the game permission to connect to your wearables, not only does the base build of the game restore blood flow, but as you're playing, the game's engine is monitoring your current feedback to the game and altering back-end data of the game to personalize the experience to you as a person. So as you're playing, me and you are playing the same multiplayer VR game. We're experiencing surface level the same thing, but on the deeper level with the data, you are getting a different environment and different game than I am getting. We're having two different experiences. We're sharing them at the same time. It's just like life. So we're able to have connection, which is a giant thing for PTSD. It's a giant thing for mental health. It's a giant thing for drug addiction. We have a connection piece playing a multiplayer game in a state of play, but at the same time, we're having a personalized experience to us as an individual that a machine is taking your data real time and making those adjustments. It's not a human decision or a therapist decision. We're using data sets that are black and white to go, this person needs this, and as it starts making adjustments, it will continue to make those as you play, taking your sleep schedule, everything into account. That's what we designed. The game itself is a skin. The engine's what we really is our bread and butter. We've built a handful of brain environments for traumatic brain injury recovery, cognitive effects. So my partners that did all the research for us, they're now our first customer when it comes to a partnership. They did our first licensing agreement this year. We're going out for some hopeful conversations with the NFL and some hopeful conversations with potentially the UFC in January. With another organization. It's amazing. You should have him on. Brant from Mission 38. Amazing story, amazing guy. He's not a veteran, but his brother was. He's on the same warpath I am. His goal is to end suicide. We've done an amazing partnership between the two of us. They're taking our technology, incorporating it to their lab. They're doing and they're running with it. They're doing amazing work. But yeah, man, it's just been crazy idea. And the team came in, saw the vision, and they ran with it. Now I have something I could have never dreamed about 4 months ago when we really started putting the team together. I mean, it's been 4 months. So everybody listening, I've had concept for about 3 years, concept of just an idea. August, we started our development, solidified our partnerships. We have full MVP, full patent. And now I got to give it up to our investors, Invictus Sovereign Fund. They saw the vision, they saw what we're doing. Their mission's to make good with money, and impact on the world, and they believed in us and they've joined. I mean, they're some of the best. We got to meet with their board a couple weeks ago to really solidify the relationship and put everything down. And God, Wayne and his team, amazing men that I'm very honored saw our vision, believed in us, and they've joined us in this kind of crusade. I like to call it a crusade because it really is. Mental health is the number one epidemic to our community. It's not cancer. It's not,
Yep.
combat injuries. Gen Z warrior coming out. I'm terrified to see what happens with this new generation of soldier. This generation of soldier that grew up in a world of war with conflicts going on. They had that, I'm going to go be a soldier. I'm going to go fight the war. And then they never got the chance to. Um, it's going to be disastrous if we can't confront this head on. It's going to be horrible. And we're already seeing it. Our population of veterans is shrinking and the epidemic only grows. They're saying anywhere between 44 to 49 veterans a day today. That number is only going to get bigger if we don't start making a dent in it.
So for those of you that just heard that, so we both know Wiz, right? And
Yeah,
Wiz
yeah.
would say right now, Wiz Buckley. For those of you who don't know, go watch the podcast I have with Wiz Buckley. Go watch
Amazing
No
Air
Fallen
Force
Heroes.
combat pilot. I mean, he's
Navy,
doing amazing work in the
Navy.
psychedelic space. Love the guy to death.
Yep. Yeah, I got one of his stickers right here. This is Wiz, No Fallen Heroes. But so he would tell us right now that the government is spending $7 million a minute trying to figure this problem out. And dude, I got goosebumps on top of goosebumps on top of goosebumps listening to you tell that story. And if that didn't have that effect on people listening to this right now, they're out of their goddamn mind. I don't like
I don't
hang
think you're
up,
out of your
turn
mind.
it
I think
off.
you just need to play my game so we can fix it.
I uh you know, growing up, I used to play video games all the time with my brother and my son. I was just putting he got for Christmas like the Sony PlayStation gift cards.
Yeah.
And we were putting it into his store last night, and like he Hulk smashed one of the Sony PlayStation controllers. And I'm like, dude, did you Hulk smash this? Like, I could feel it because like the little cursor kept going, and it wouldn't work
Oh,
right. And the reason I say this is because like growing up, everyone's like, there's no good that'll come from video games, right? Like, why are you wasting your time, right, man? I want like this goes to prove that like everyone was wrong,
yeah.
dude. I am so flippin' proud of you.
Thank you,
Like
brother.
I I don't even know proud isn't the right word. Like there's a word like an infinity amount of times above this. Just that says like this is of epic proportionate changes. You went from 9 hours of clinical treatment down to an hour of playing a video game and getting the
Yeah.
same effect. And now you can scale it by playing a video game?
And we can put any video game over the top of it. I mean, it's a skin, right? It's to change the brain, you put the brain under pressure doing a complex task for a certain amount of time using the full body. And that's what VR is. And back to your
Yeah.
point, people love to say, I remember growing up, like, that's never going to do good. I think it was 2 years ago, a team of 300 different doctors got together and open ended a penned letter to Meta saying that VR would be the worst thing for humanity. I remember
Yeah.
reading this going, because I was already working on this at that time and going, I think they're wrong. I think we are evolving into a digital society where it's ever
Mm-hmm.
changing. Human chemistry and biology is not catching up quick enough. Our mental health is only getting worse. And instead
Mm-hmm.
of coming up with modalities to trick the body to adapt, right? We're very adaptable. You're a military guy, military guy. That's one of the things we pride ourselves on through the training is you learn to adapt. It's not something you're born with. A lot of guys learn that. They learn the adaptability during that process. I think we don't give the human body, the human mind enough credit that we can change our biome to adapt to the digital world. We just have to force it. It's just like training any other muscle group. And this mindset of we can't catch up, in my mind, I'm sorry, it's bullshit. We can. We just have to train ourselves. It's a training mechanism, and it's a failure of adaptability and training we've had to this point. And I think a lot of these clinically trained doctors through the medical process, medical system, don't have enough willpower to chance the outside of the box. And that's been my experience to date is a lot of these medical professionals just are they're trained to treat a symptom, not to treat a causation. They're not trained to actually cure people, they're trained to treat. Oh, you have
Yeah.
these symptoms, I'm going to go through my book, I'm going to try this pharmaceutical. They got 10 minutes with an individual on average. See you later. Bye. That seems to be standardized. That seems to be the world we live in. What we're creating, I'm hoping, is just the beginning. One of the things I'm really proud about is our therapy rooms we've created. We're rolling those out Q1 this year. The therapist not only has all the biodecision engine making them recommendations on how to treat their individual doing their therapy modalities, but the environment's changing to the individual. So they're able to adjust lighting, they're able to adjust binaural sound waves, they're able to get an entire. This is all part of our patent, this engine part. So when you're talking about therapy for a veteran, why do we expect someone struggling in life to have to get up, out of bed, get showered, get changed, drive through traffic to get to a VA, to sit in a waiting room on average 45 minutes past their appointment time? That's the national average of a VA appointment, 45 minutes. With the stress that if they're not there 5 minutes within the window to check in, their appointment gets rescheduled. Most wait times for VA right now is 4 to 5 months. That's most, right? 4 to 5 months just to get the appointment. So all of that stress, and then we wonder why therapists at the VA quit when a veteran blows up. Most therapists quit the VA because of violence. We've removed all of that stress. Therapist now has their headset in their therapy rooms. The veteran now has theirs in their home. You wake up, my appointment's in 15 minutes. I'm going to go into the waiting room. They throw on the headset. They're in a waiting room, an environment they can interact with. They get pulled into their therapist room. They do their therapy. It's over. That's on Wednesday. Friday, the veteran's suicidal. They throw the headset on. There's a big red button in the area. They go hit that. They get connected to 988. You're talking to suicide assistant hotline while you're interacting with a therapy room that's putting you in a theta state in 2 minutes.
I
2 minutes.
I
That's all we need.